Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yeah, we'll be expecting a few more people.
Okay.
We have somebody from the UK and somebody from Australia joining us. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, the time zone's gonna be crazy.
Yep.
Oh wow.
They're dedicated, I hope. Renata, are you in New York or where are you now?
I'm in Jersey.
On your good.
Yeah.
I know that Sarah, you got the Slack, right? The Slack invite.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Renata, Farah, you guys got the Slack?
Yes, is it to the support group?
Yeah,
Yes.
but the specific channel for this class, and there's a private channel.
I'll take a, let me
No.
check.
You did not get it?
No.
I added you, but maybe that went to your other email, Renata?
Maybe. I don't know. I have to check. No, both come to the same inbox.
Mm,
What is the email address that you added?
it was the one that we used for the class,
Class, okay.
the one at renataroca.com.
Okay. Let me check here.
Yeah, we give people a couple more minutes to join and we'll get started. Hey, Remley.
Hello.
Remley, did you get the invite to the Slack? This
I
one?
did. I haven't joined it yet, but I will.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure because we're going to be using that for our communication. Ramley, where are you located at?
I'm in Boston,
Yeah,
but my
most of
company is based in the UK, so I usually start early.
Oh. So you work UK time?
I try not to. I try to maintain East Coast US time, but sometimes I just log on early for meetings and such.
Mhm. Yeah, I used to work with a company in UK as well, so it's like that, you need to try to do the overlap.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi, Pitt.
Hello, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hello,
You got
it's a very warm 41 degrees Fahrenheit in Perth this morning.
you got your coffee ready?
Absolutely. Yes, let's go.
Yeah, well, I think okay, so the main thing is that I wanted to make sure you guys got the Slack invite because we're going to be using that. And I think the other person is it Alex?
Yes.
Alex, did you get the Slack invite also?
Maybe I'll check my email.
Okay. Yeah, we'll be using that in between classes for you guys to communicate and whatnot. Okay. We're waiting for one more person, but since we're here, let's just get started. If Marina joins, she joins. Okay. First thing, let's go around just really quickly. Introduce yourself. Start with your name, your story, and Renata knows this. I like this question. What are you grateful for? So we'll start every class with that because that will prime it primes our brain to actually be in the resourceful state to actually absorb and learn better. Okay, who wants to start?
I can start.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, I'm Remley Green, so based in Boston. My story, so I work for a company called Glasswall that's based in London right now. But I've been a UX designer for, God, 15, 20 years, I don't know. I started out my career as a librarian at MIT. Was there for 15 years and then kind of made the switch over to UX design. So my current role is director of UX and what I'm grateful for. Oh, so many things. Right now today, so it's super hot in Boston, but it's about to break, and I'm really excited for the cooler weather because we're all dying.
Nice. Nice. Thank you, Emily. You get to pick the next person.
How about Farah? Am I saying that right?
Pick me? Okay,
Oh.
thank you.
Oh,
Farah or Sarah?
Well, I didn't see Sarah on my screen. I
Farah,
said
okay.
Sarah, but now I know that there's a Sarah.
Okay, let's Farah start.
hi guys, my name is Farah. I'm based in New York City, UX UI designer, currently doing a fellowship at the Mayor's Office of New York City as a product management fellow. And yeah, I'm just glad to be here. One thing I'm grateful for, I guess, health as well.
Cool.
Next person, I guess Sarah, you can go.
Thank you. So my name is Sarah, and I started my journey in UX design like for not too long ago. So I joined a boot camp in Columbia University, and I'm looking for a job right now, and I'm working in retails for the moment. Something I'm grateful for is learning the UX design, and today I'm gonna start the AI. Thank you so much. I'm so happy and so grateful to meet you guys.
So Sarah, who's next? Sarah, you get to pick the next person.
Sorry, Alex.
Oh, hi everyone. My name is Alex. I started my design journey as actually a software engineer and then slowly kind of pivoted into working as a UX designer, working multiple big tech companies, and now kind of pivoting into freelancing and trying to explore how to do the UX using the AI tools. And I kind of like use it worked in a lot of different areas of design. So I did motion, I did visual design, did UX design. So really excited to explore what AI can bring in all these areas. Yeah, so what's I'm grateful for? I'm actually grateful that it was cold before. I'm based in Seattle, so it was cold and rainy before. So now it's actually sunny, and I'm grateful that it's hot and sunny outside.
Nice, nice. Cool. So who's next, Alex?
Who didn't? I'll choose Renata.
Hello, everyone. My name is Renato. I'm originally from Brazil, so that's why I'm gonna hear some accent. I live in the Jersey area. As Rimley, I'm in the design field for a while. So I can say that I breathe experience, and that's kind of like part of my essence. I'm currently at Amazon as a senior UX designer, and I'm looking forward to learn more stuff that I can apply to my day-to-day work, day-to-day life with AI, because I don't think it's going to be just to my UX field. I'm very grateful for this meeting, for coming back to you, Danny. I missed you. I missed the convo, and I'm looking forward to learning, to meeting new people, and then making sure that this is a safe space. Like we can.
Renata actually flexed on her husband on using AI to do like, what was it, game? You
Yes. I did a game. So he created part of the game for me, and then kind let me rephrase that. I hate coding. It's not for my brain. So then my husband is a software developer. I have a kid that's 4.5 years old. You might see him like maybe knocking the door. Um, but I asked my husband to support me creating a game for kids. And this is part of something that I like doing, off stuff that it's joyful.
Yeah, and then at some point you decided that you could test out some of the AI tool and you made something and show it to him.
Yeah, I did. I just to tease on him. Just to tease on him, like, yeah, honey, thank you. But now I'm gonna do something else.
Very good. Oh yeah, thank you, Renata. Babe, we'd love to get to know you a little bit.
Sure. So yeah, you guys can hear and see me, right? Because I can't tell.
Yes, we can.
Okay, cool. All right. So yes, I'm Pip. I in a previous life was a graphic designer and 3D animator. So I worked in film and TV as well as print. I went back to university, studied UI UX design. I've worked as UI UX designer for a mining tech company, a insurance company, and now I'm in health tech, which has been interesting because it's really slow compared to like being in other stuff. So that's an adjustment. What am I grateful for? I don't know. I guess being in Australia where it's winter, but the skies are always clear and there's hardly any rain, and that's Perth, not over east gets floods and stuff at the moment, but Perth is fine. So I'm very grateful for nice weather because there's people that immigrate here and it's like, this is amazing. This is winter. So I guess I'm grateful for that.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, thank you, everyone. Um, moving on. So we're here, week 1, right? So every week we're gonna look at this and track our progress. So today we're going to cover the fundamentals, so start to end. On the surface level, it's gonna be very intense. I'm gonna make you guys work real hard, which I do. And you'll learn a lot. And by the end of this, you'll have something that you can already apply. Okay, so the learning objectives, we always start with this. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to write effective prompts. So we start with prompt engineering, apply core AI UX design principles to your workflow. So we're gonna keep coming back to these different principles because at the end of the day, the human needs to drive. Design is decision. Decision needs to be made by the humans, not by AI. We need to know what goes into that. And then we're going to actually do like a quick, rapid AI-powered UX design process, like a little hackathon-ish, which Farah already experienced a couple of times and probably just going to show us more. So the agenda, I'm not going to spend more time on this.
Are you
Prompt engineering.
somewhere?
I'm sure that you guys have heard of prompt engineering, but essentially what it is how do we actually craft and refine the input to the AI so that we can get the output that's useful. So accurate, relevant, and useful that we can use. Oh, can you guys see my screen?
I can see it.
So then it's me. So I'm sorry. Let me check what's going on.
Okay, cool. And the recording will be available the day after, but the latest, so you can always watch back. But for the most, and also the slides, so don't worry about it. But yeah, sometimes I get problems with like screens, so do let me know if you can't see the screens. But anyways, prompt engineering. So we're gonna do it together. First, I'm going to go to Claude, which is one of my best friends now. And for this course, it's not a requirement, but I recommend you guys getting the Pro for Claude, at least for this course, because Claude is free for like, I think 30 prompts per day, but you're gonna hit the limit quite soon when you start working with this. So this is Claude. I'm using the desktop version, and because the desktop version has are you sharing on Zoom?
I'm really struggling here. Danny, I can't see the screen. I changed a few things already. Maybe I'm gonna go out and come back and just check what's going on.
Okay.
Okay, give me 1 second.
And looks like Ramley also just while waiting for Renata, just out of curiosity, I'm curious to hear what you guys have done with AI. I know a little bit about Farah because she has been to my workshops. How about other people? What have you guys been using AI for?
I use it for like daily life tasks like research or like,
Mm.
but not professional in UX or something.
So not in the UX context,
No,
but
never.
Ramley, how about you?
I've been using it to come up with copy and kind of refine copy a lot, or in the kind of just starting out phase when I kind of get intimidated by a blank screen. Sometimes it just throws some questions in. But we've just started trying to load things like personas or usability test results or things in. I'm not sure I'm doing it right. So that's one of the things I'm really psyched about learning.
Okay, cool. Renata, welcome back. Can you see the screen now?
Of course not.
Uh,
There's something going on. I'm trying to see what's going on, but I can't see the screen. I can't see the share.
can you see the Zoom?
Yes, I'm seeing Zoom, but I'm not seeing the share out.
At the top, there is I got confused by this at some point. There's like meeting where you see like all the faces, and then there's like the screens that people share.
Yeah,
Tab.
like there is the view of our speaker gallery multi-speaker, but
There is
I
no
can't
screen.
go.
Okay, I'm
What?
gonna stop sharing and reshare. Hopefully that will do it.
Oh,
I'm gonna
wait,
try again. Let's see.
1 second. Now, yes, now I got it.
Okay, cool. Now we're in business.
Hey.
Everybody else also can see the screen? Yes.
Yep.
Thank you, thank you. Yes.
Okay, so the thing that Ramley mentioned, as in like getting idea. Whoop, I scare her away. Is Ramley, are you there? Oh, okay, she's back. Ramley, you disappeared for a second. I thought we lost you.
Yeah, it keeps kind of cutting in and out, but I'll see what I can do.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so Ramley mentioned about like the blank canvas kind of problem, and AI could help with this. That's typically what some people call zero shot prompting, which is like the reason for that is like there's zero shot of getting the result that you want, but it's very useful to start getting ideas so you can follow the path, right? But like, so we're gonna start with that and see how we can improve this. For example, we're gonna say, tell me how AI can help me with UX. Now, this is going to be pretty bad because it's zero shot. You just like, okay, just give me ideas. And it's what's happening here is that it's relying on its training. The LLM got trained. I'm sure you guys have heard this. So it's got trained until a certain period, and it got cut off. And then it's using it for inference, which is what it's doing right now. And it's trying to be super helpful and trying to just come up with whatever it can give us based on this, right? So one thing that could be useful is, so it's again, like, okay, you can do that. Not very useful. One thing we can do to make this more useful is to add the role, right? Let's say that you are a role playing is amazing. You can say that you are, as in like the AI assistant is playing the role, or I am playing the role. In this case, I'm gonna make the AI assistant play the role. You are a UX director with the goal of trying to implement AI in your team's workflow. Starting with research. give list ideas of how and tools that you can use immediately. Let's see what it gives us. So what I just did is that I limited the context, right? Instead of everything, saying that you are in the leadership position, you are this UX director, and you're only focusing on user research. So it's like, shh, right? And then I could make it even more useful by saying that you need to start showing quick wins by end of next week. Create a tangible step-by-step plan. Now this is getting even more useful, right? So instead of just like, oh, give me everything, like now give me a plan. This could potentially still be overwhelming, in which case, then I would just say, this is overwhelming. We only have, if I can type, simplify and distill what it. So whenever you feel like it's giving you too much and you're overwhelmed, just tell it, like, it is overwhelming. Simplify. Thoughts, questions, comments before I continue? We good?
I think I did similar to that apply to three different projects right now. I created workshops. I created back and forth on creating a possible brand and things that I was in a conversational way trying to understand my possibilities and also playing the devil's advocate. Saying like, you think you're right, but what about this? And the results, it's interesting how the analysis can go deep if you understand how to prompt it to give you something that's useful.
Yep. So that's actually one really important point. We've been trained by Google to actually just use keywords, and we assume that whatever Google gives us is truth for the most part, right? With this, challenge it, because sometimes it's actually hallucinating. So you need to treat this thing almost like a very overeager and super smart intern who's just starting out, but like still an intern and so eager to please you. Sometimes it would make things up. That's the one thing that a lot of people say, oh, that means that this is not useful. Well, it's not necessarily true. If you like, because like somebody said, oh, if it's not 100% accurate all the time, then how can I use this? Then the question that I asked that person was, are you 100% accurate all the time? No, we're not. It's just like working with somebody, right? We need to know how to check it. And then the thing that Renata mentioned, have a check and checkpoint here and there, way to like check the sources and whatnot. That's actually a very important skill in here, and know that it does have that tendency. Now, the thing that I didn't do here, which could be useful when we're doing, for example, you want to do a usability research synthesis, right? You want to create a report. If you already had, you've done it in the past and you have a report that format that you like to use, give it as an example. Just like working with human beings, right? Use this format, and this is the example. That's going to significantly improve the output. And you can do that by doing here. So there's like different from the Google Drive, GitHub, or upload a file. Definitely use this. And sometimes one thing that could be useful also, if you hit the wall, you can take a screenshot and drop it in here as a screenshot. Okay, so another thing that I want to point out with this is that it has the, where is it? Not here. Oh no, it gotta go to the new chat. There is the extended thinking. Now, extended thinking is essentially us telling the AI to slow down. So the AI is like, oh yeah, like, again, overeager intern, right? But like if it's something that's really but that's something that's complex, for example, like coding, multiple steps process, it's actually useful to tell it to slow down. Okay, plan it out first. Make sure you're like at least 90% sure what to do before you continue. Show me your thinking. So that's something that is very similar to the way the human brain works. That's what very useful. And then there's also here, you can see the different models. Typically, Claude Sonnet 4 is good enough. But if you want something that's really big, large complex model, you can move to the Opus 4. These are the different models. And so it has like more, it can handle more complexity.
One question. I tried that and I tried again, and I messed up when I was doing one of my thinking. If I don't set up the extended thinking in the beginning,
Mhm.
um, can I do it like in the between, like mid part?
No, you have to start a new one.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So in
Start-
which
or start
case,
new, or start like
yeah, if you're like in the middle of it and you're like, oh, I should have done the extended thinking, but now I already started. What you could do is you can actually just ask Claude to recap your progress so far and create a prompt to start the extended thinking one.
right. Okay.
Sarah, go ahead.
So question, I've never heard about Claude. Like I usually use ChatGPT, or is that like, is Claude is something like specialized for UX designers or like professionals or?
So there are what they call foundational. So that's a good question, actually. Foundational tools or models, right? These are Claude, ChatGPT. We're gonna play around with all of this, like Gemini. There is Grok also. So those are the general purpose. ChatGPT is one of them, right? So they could do a lot of things. But then if you wanted to do something that's specialized, for example, you wanted to build prototype, which we will do today, you want to move to a different tool. Now, what's interesting is that that different tool, for example, you probably have heard of Lovable. Lovable is for creating design. Underneath it, the brain, the LLM, is the same. They're using Claude. They're using Claude Sonnet, actually. But this is where actually things get exciting for us as designer. So the application itself is like the wrapper that gives it like tools and capabilities to leverage the intelligence, the brain. And that's all UX essentially. Abstracting things or revealing things, making things more useful, giving direction. That's the new layer of capability for the LLM, and it's all UX thinking. And you'll see that the same tools that we're gonna play around with that too, like later on. It uses these different models, the different LLM like Claude, but then it's more for coding, and it's similar, but it shows different tools, different capabilities. Because it's again like you, Sarah, the designer, versus Sarah, the, I don't know, if you do bartending, the bartender, you'll have different tools. Although the same brain. That's the same thing. So, but there are the basically the general tools, which are like Claude is one of them. It's more like a personal preference normally. So what I recommend is that you get really familiar with one tool, one general tool, and use it so that you know the capability and the limitation. And for the most part, you can do a lot of these, and then you just move to different things, different specialized tools when you need to. Because what's interesting with a lot of these is that it's no longer about the tools, it's about the workflow that we need to understand and actually embrace. Then we can swap in and out different tools as the tool changes, and the tools change so fast. Did that answer your question?
Oh yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're gonna see this more. In fact, actually, let's do that real quick while we're here. Right, so this is, just gonna give it okay. For example, I'm going to just combine all these things. So I'm gonna say you are this. So ChatGPT is one of them, right? And I'm gonna combine this to show you what this looks like. Let me ChatGPT. And then I will add. So this was the things, what I just did here is this is called the chain of thought prompting. Just so you know, if people are talking about, which simply means that you use the output of the previous thing as the input for the next thing. So for now, I'm just gonna try to combine it to one-shot it. You need to start this. And then I'm gonna combine the last one also. This simplify and distill the output so that it's not over. Okay, so essentially it's the same one, but I'm combining it. Now what I'm gonna do is that I'm going to take this, so ChatGPT, and I'm gonna give it to Gemini also. Gemini is another one that's, and then I'm gonna give it to also Grok. These are essentially the competitors, the general purpose. In general, this is a good idea when you want to do research, which we will do a little bit, especially when you're doing research, so you can start seeing the patterns, right? You start seeing the patterns, is this actually reliable data? But even with this, it's also a good idea to kind of see what each tool can do for you and which one that you like the style of more. So for example, here with Grok, I'm gonna close this. It's more robust, right? It's more verbose. We start with the objective. And it's also giving me like some of the pricing, maybe a bit too much. Let's see, I'm not gonna spend too much on this. I'm just gonna try to give you just a taste of what it looks like. Right, so this is for qualitative data, research planning. Right, so they handle the same thing differently, but very similar output. Now this is 7-day action plan for ChatGPT, and even like there's a bonus option. And you can see it's basically the same thing, right? You use the same skill to work with these different things. Okay, back to this. Basic to advanced prompting. So basic, you can just start with this basic prompt, but then you can build on top of it. Or at the very least, if you want to make sure that you get good output, add more context. Context, the role, the format. So these are things that we just talk about, the role. Just give the AI a role to play. And then obviously the task. And the more context you provide, the better it will perform. Right? Another thing that we did, like the constraint, for example, and then the success metric potentially. Just like when you're giving instruction to a colleague or an intern, right? The format is also very important with the example. If you have a particular thing, like for example, you want it to be a bullet list, you want it to be a table, whatever the case might be, and we talk about prompt chaining. Any thoughts any questions before we move on? Good? Okay. Now, your turn. Now, what you to do is you can use Claude to basically come up with a capstone project idea. So throughout this course, every single week after you learn something, you're going to apply it to your capstone project. So I want you to use AI to help you come up with the project for yourself. And the output will be a well-defined capstone project with a clear target user and a focused project scope that has AI feature, because ideally you could use this to showcase that, oh yeah, I've done something that incorporates AI. Any questions?
Not for now. Probably
Okay.
1,000.
Okay. Sarah, go ahead.
Do we come up with any idea? And
So this is the idea for your own project that you're going to work on throughout the course.
Okay, thank you.
It could be an app, could be a website, but it has to have like some kind of AI component for it in it. We ready? Cool. Alex, you good?
Yes.
Cool. Ramley? Okay,
Yep.
go ahead. Start, and then we'll reconvene in like 7-8 minutes. Yep. Nope, go ahead, Renata.
I have where is this the slide available? Can we have or is
I'm
it just, like
going
shut
to
down the screen and then just you're gonna be sharing this? What's gonna happen?
I'm going to upload it so you'll have it.
Okay, I have access to the channel. Maybe I just where are you gonna upload it, Maven?
Wait, do you need it for now or for review later?
Now and later?
Oh, okay. So for now, let me just do it real
Now and
quick.
later because I want to have this information. So I'm gonna screenshot this thing. That's
So
fine.
let me just, for now, I'm gonna screenshot this and drop it in the chat. Okay, is that cool?
No, I just did it. So no worries.
No, okay. And once you're done in the chat, just type done. And also don't worry if you need to change your if you need to change the idea later.
Can you send the screenshot on the chat, please? Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks.
Well. 2 minutes. One minute. Ten seconds.
Come on, Claude. It's drafting.
Okay.
It's coming.
Okay. So, I think what would be the easiest is to just have you guys drop your idea, just like a short version of your idea in the chat. Again, you're not, bound to it. Like there's no contract here, so you can always change it later. We just need something to get you started. Drop it in the chat, and then we'll talk about what you just experienced.
Just the title or something else?
A little description,
Okay.
high level. And if you don't have it, just ask Claude or, whatever LM you use. Just, hey, summarize this in one sentence. Okay. Okay. Kawaii Team to do app. I love that. Kawaii. All right. Conversational AI assistant for CDR policy configuration target user. Very cool. Okay, Alex. Content aware search interface project the problem. Analyze more. Okay, so let's talk about this. How was that experience? What's working and what's not working as well for you guys?
I think if you're not careful, it can be extremely overwhelming.
Extremely overwhelming. Okay, Ramli, you seem to agree with
Me
that.
too. I do. I gave it a pretty specific prompt and it gave me 4 ideas, but there were a lot of good ideas. So a lot of it was just kind of weeding through what actually felt right and then what didn't. So there's a lot of like refinement and curation I thought that I had to do.
Exactly. I agree with that.
Anyone else have any thoughts on this?
For my Kawaii app, I was trying to describe the interface because I want it to be cards and I also want it to be a widget that can sit on the homepage, but it kind of struggled to do that. So I actually found like a random screenshot somewhere. I just did an image search of like to do apps and I put that in my prompt and then Claude was like, oh, okay, something like this. And then it sort of got it. So sometimes I find visual stuff is an interesting way of sort of getting it to go in the right direction, because you can only like describe so much verbally or like talk to it so much. It just doesn't get it sometimes.
Kind of like human, no?
Mm.
Sometimes you just like, oh yeah, this is what I mean.
Yep.
So that's actually brilliant. Anyone else want to share what they experienced? Was there anything that you're like, oh, I didn't expect that?
I agree with everybody. It's like it's kind of overwhelming. It's a lot of beautiful ideas. Like I wanna like whatever I read, like I want this. I wanna do this idea. So yeah, it's kind of a lot.
Mm-hmm. Alex, what was the experience like for you?
I think for me it was defining the scope because a lot of ideas it give me were like for large teams.
Mm.
And so I was keep trying to convince him that we have limited resources, we have like just one or two designers, we have this specific resources we can work for like research. So once I define all of those, like it's not obvious what exactly I need to define at the first stage. So I slowly kind of like went through those steps.
So adding more constraints to add the context for it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Fair.
interesting, Alex. I'm sorry to interrupt here, Danny. This is interesting because I did not explore that context. Because I started the context as I need a capstone project. So what you're telling is actually part of the context that I should be giving more in the context that when I'm trying something, and I'm having some ideas, or the workshop, I will say like, this is for this amount of people. The context should be a little bit more specific than maybe what I'm doing. That's why it's so overwhelming sometimes.
Yep.
I started the
Okay.
other way. I already had an idea in my head that I've been thinking about for this course. I'm like, okay, I know there's going to be an outcome for this. So I've already been thinking of like what kind of apps or things I want to create. So I already had in my head, I want to do something simple and easy, and I like cute stuff, and I'm like, having like a really cool aesthetic to do app would be great. So I didn't even start with I want ideas for a capstone project. I was like, okay, give me some ideas of like a kawaii to do app, and what sort of aesthetics I could use. Is it going to be anime? Is it going to be like decora? Like I kind of went that way instead of going, give me an idea for a capstone project. And that's why mine got really detailed. Like it got into like business features. It's like what the pricing should be at the App Store. Like it got really detailed.
Mm. Farah, what did you experience?
Uh, I think the prompting is kind of a reflection of what was going on in my head. So within an 8 minute span, I think I was just brainstorming stuff in Web3, which was something I'm interested in, or which is something I'm interested in. But I think my prompting was also a real time reflection of me narrowing it down. And so my the output started reflecting me narrowing down the scope, but even then, I think within 8 minutes, I got into the ballpark of what I was looking at or looking for, but still, I could see where you mentioned like human in the loop kind of being the director of those prompts and making sure AI is not leading the conversation. I could see where I'm kind of orchestrating my prompts, and the AI is reflecting what I'm thinking as well. So it's interesting.
Yeah, a couple of things I want to mention is that both the idea of like starting with like, okay, I want a capstone project, right? So that's the end goal, or like what Pip said, that I want to create a kawaii to-do list app. It's also a to-do app. Is both are like the end goal. Having an end goal in mind would significantly help where you're going, because the the thing that AI tend to do is again, it's over eager, so it tends to give you a lot of seemingly good ideas. And our brain, because this is how we're wired, we're like, ooh, I might use that later. I might use that. I might. Hoarding. And the next thing you know, you're actually over capacity. Like, I don't know where to go. Error, right? So one of the things that has been useful for me to think about this is not the just in case mentality, which is that, in case I need that, but just in time. Meaning that, okay, what do I need now to get to the next step? But I need to know where I'm trying to go, right? So that's where we actually need to start a lot of times with paper before we hit the AI, right? Before we use the assistant, because it's like jumping on a bullet train. It goes somewhere really fast, but where? Do you know where you're going? Are you jumping on the right train? If you are, then it's great. But if not, then you're gonna actually end up wasting time trying and also wasting brain power because you have to go back again and take the next one. And if you don't know again, you end up somewhere else again that you don't know. Right? Great. Thank you for sharing, guys. So actually, I want to go here and then we'll do a quick break and then we'll go to the next part. So these are the core principles that I've noticed that could be useful, which is something start with the end in mind, right? Like what we just discussed. If you don't know where you're gonna go, you may not end up there. So start with the goal. What is the goal? Go slow to go fast. A lot of times it's actually very, very useful to break down what am I trying to do and how am I gonna do that first manually before you ask the AI to do that. For example, if you just ask AI to create wireframes for you, it would, but it's gonna be crap. So it's better to just like go start with like you start with, okay, this is the user flow, the steps like these are the content, the steps that we normally go through, right? But then if you ask the AI to do that, like, okay, generate this with content, it's fast. But it just goes straight to like, okay, just create an app. Like, no, don't do that. Anyways, AI as a multiplier is supposed to enhance and multiply us, not replace us. The worst thing that could happen is that you created something and you end up presenting it to your boss or whoever, and they're like, what's in here? I don't know. Why do you put this here? The AI did that. Like, no. User-centric output, right? Consider who will use the output and how. This is super important. Whatever you're creating, this is just in general with UX process. Who's going to use it and how they're going to use it. It could be you. You could be the one using it, for example, that wireframe or that content, whatever that is. But then how are you going to use it for the next step? And whenever you feel lost, go back to the design thinking. Go back to the process that you know is tried and true. Like empathize, define, ideate, design, prototype, test. And a lot of times AI assistants and these LLMs, they're overeager, but they're also lazy. They're gonna give you the surface level stuff that sounds smart. Question it. Go deeper. Basically, kind of like, can you do better than that? Like, what does this mean? Again, questioning the intern, right? A big part of this also to make sure that the human is in the loop is to implement checkpoints along the way. Just like the wireframing example that I used earlier, instead of just say, okay, create wireframes slowly, like, okay, generate the content blocks for this. Okay, what is the order of content for this page? Okay, that looks good. Okay, now generate the content for each block. Like so every single step have a checkpoint. So you can be, okay, makes sense. Just again, like working with an intern, right? Leverage existing framework, Double Diamond in startup, whichever that works for you. Double Diamond I think these two have been working for me. So understanding that, am I diverging or converging? Am I generating idea or choosing idea now? Am I in the problem space or am I in the solution space? So at least if you're lost because this is moving so fast, overwhelming, the first question is, am I supposed to be talking about solution already? Or I need to focus on the problem still? If I'm on the problem, do I understand it enough to actually choose the problem, define it, or I need to explore more? Right. So this is basic UX. For those of you who've been in the industry for a while, this is basic, but we need to go back to the basic actually for a lot of these things. And then focus on what doesn't change. That's very important. The first principle. What doesn't change? It's not the tools, but the humans. The human needs, the human motivation. These are the things that we are very strong at, that we know. We have to go back to that. Any questions about or comments on any of these? No? Okay, so we're gonna keep going back to this over and over as we go through this. And let's do a 5-minute break, and then we'll start with the second part. All right, all right. Renata, Alex, you guys back?
Yep.
Cool.
I'm here.
Okay, cool. So the next thing is we're gonna do a mini hackathon to play with different AI tools. So I'm going to guide you. So this is the steps, right? We're gonna go through the entire thing. The deliverables will be persona, problem definition, MVP features, user flow, wireframes, interactive prototype in less than an hour. Okay. The first thing after this, I'm gonna break you guys out into two rooms to work within the two groups, right? The first thing to search is to research, identify the persona and define the problem. For this, I want you guys to use Perplexity, Grok, and actually Gemini also. I'm gonna drop it in the chat. So research, use Perplexity, Grok, and Gemini. The reason for that is because these different tools are actually site sources. So you can easily validate and verify the output of the research. Okay. So the first thing for the next, let's say 10 minutes, I'm gonna give you another time mark so you don't have to worry about remembering all these things. For the next 10 minutes, your goal is to identify the persona and define the problem. And the task is we're creating basically a LinkedIn killer. We're going to create an AI-powered professional networking platform. It could be an app, could be a website, up to you guys. And the first thing, obviously, we want to figure out who should we target, the personas, and what is the main problem that they have, so we can define the problem. Questions? So persona and problem first. Using these things based on data.
And we will do it on Teams.
In a team, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you guys can do it individually and then like bring it together, but you need to have unified output essentially.
Sure.
Okay, any other question before I open the breakout room? Okay, 3, 2, 1, open. Again, persona and problem. Where's Sarah? We'll start chatting. So, how was that?
Fun.
Yeah.
Overwhelming fun, but interesting.
It took
Yeah,
me a little while to get the basic concepts. Like Danny, as soon as you said just take a screenshot and put it into Lovable, it's like, oh yeah, you don't have to prompt everything with words. So that's awesome. That unlocks a lot for me.
yeah, that's the one thing that would be very, very useful when you do a lot of things. Like you hit the wall here, like for example, let's say you started vibe coding or whatever, and you're like, oh, there is this error. Just take a screenshot, give it to Claude, figure it out, right? And then, or like you're trying to have it synthesize your research, but then you're having problem getting it out, take a screenshot, dump it because it has vision. So that's one of the things that's really useful. Okay, other thoughts, comments?
But again, it's great. It's fun. I want to do more of it. I'm going to be tinkering with Lovable all day. So yeah, sounds fun.
What's the next
Great.
level?
Well,
It's coming.
I mentioned that in one of the groups that if you feel a little overwhelmed or a lot overwhelmed, uncomfortable, it's by design. It's gonna get easier and better because this is just a lot of things. You're trying to do these different things. And what's interesting is that the same prompting skill that you learn in one applies to the other, right?
Mhm.
And that's where like this is becoming interesting. You're not learning AI as a tool, you're actually learning AI as an operating system. So once you know how to do one, you can just move around to different tools, adopt new tools easily. But you need to know the process and the workflow. So you know when to use what and how to use what.
The other day, I was trying to explain to someone how I feel about AI, and what you said, it's exactly something that I'm trying to learn. But sometimes it feels so overwhelming that it works like a stock market, that I need to learn how to operate a stock market and then be on top of that 24/7, like the whole time. And it's a lot.
Yeah.
And you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But once you understand how it works, what's the basic works
Mhm.
of that, and then you can just like from this to another one and then try to play it again.
Yep. This is why I'm gonna go back to this. You can see my screen, yes?
Yes.
Okay. This one. Focus on what doesn't change. We know the process works, we know the workflow works, we know the human factor doesn't really change. We all need to eat and we're all irrational. We keep going back to that. And also focus on what doesn't change that you can learn. Using this, you can learn, right? You can adapt quickly. So you don't get distracted by all these noise because it's gonna be a lot and a lot. And everybody's like, oh yeah, in one prompt you can do this, in one prompt you can do this. But yeah, you can get something, but it's not ready. It's still faster though, right? If by being able to wireframe with Claude, not having to like set up your frame, find the font, find the much faster, but it's not ready. You still need you. Anyways, so congratulations on that. Finishing that in an hour. That was pretty amazing, right? Like you were able to boom, 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 boom in an hour. Evaluation framework, quality of output, which we talk about consistency. This is something that's going to be big as you work with multiple screens. And, you know, like in one screen, you have this component this way, another screen, it started to look different, right? So this is where like generative AI sometimes have problems with consistency because it generates something from scratch every single time. You need to explicitly tell it sometimes, like, don't change everything, just change the thing I asked you to change. Speed. Is it really faster? Right? Like, for example, I saw in one of the groups, you guys were doing user flow diagram and it just looks like crap because it just like tried to be creative and stuff. But it's like, no, no. at some point it may get frustrating. It actually might be faster to just do it by hand, get the content. And that's when you need to learn how to like leverage other tools and potentially get Claude to give you the content, and then you take it somewhere else where you just like plop it, right? You have specific understanding. I remember like I think in one of the rooms you guys use material design. Can you talk about that a little bit as part of the context?
I think that was us.
Yeah.
Yeah, only because I've got experience using material design in React, and I just find it's really good. So, and I used to be on a design system team, so thinking generally of aesthetics and something that's universal, the first thing I thought of was material design. So I prompted it saying, "Hey, can you make this wireframe using Google Material Design aesthetics?"
And how did Claude perform on that? Did it do well?
It was all right. I got the pattern. I'd say the pattern of roughly what a login screen and what a dashboard looks like. It's kind of like 80% there, but the actual like material design components itself, nowhere near the aesthetic.
Mhm. And Ramley, you guys did in Lovable, you gave it like use, the instruction to use Apple's styling, right? How did that go?
Yeah, we had a very, very, very simple wireframe from Claude, and then we took a screenshot of that, pasted that into Lovable, and I just asked it to create a high fidelity design in the style of apple.com, and it did fairly well. Like, it's pretty impressive. I would like to try it more and kind of push it a little further.
So one thing you could potentially do is that after it gave you the output, give another prompt changing the role, saying that now you're playing the role of a senior UX designer, reviewing this based you blah blah blah. Give review of this, like give your feedback, and then revise based on that. And then also, I think in one of the groups, I mentioned that you can bring that to another tool, like say ChatGPT or another one, and have them critique it back and forth, pit them against one another.
It feels like we are building up knowledge from scratch. So then we're going to be able to build ourselves like a library and saying like, I want this one. This is going to be my template for a request. And then once I have it, I can fill it out. And then it's going to be easier for me even to work with AIs and whatever I want to work. Like
Correct.
the library is ready, the template is ready, the prompt is, it's like fill it up like this field, and then you go based on things like you want the output.
Yep. So that's the system prompt, which we'll get to, but essentially that's what it is. It's almost like when you hire a new person to your company, you gave them orientation and the handbook, right? It's the same idea. And in Claude, there is a project. I know that in one of the group, Pip, you did bring this up, but I'm going to show it to the other one also. You can still see my screen, right? Everyone? Okay. So in the Claude, I think both desktop and app, if you go to projects, new project, I'm not gonna create new projects. I'm gonna go to one existing one. Let's say, so this is how I create the slides, by the way. So this is the system prompt, right? So this one, you are blah, 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 blah. When you ask not to do this, this is the thing that you talk about, Renata. It doesn't change every time. But then there's the project specific about the project, right? This deck, blah, blah, blah. And then this is project folder, this changes. But every single time, like so for example, this is lesson 6. When I did lesson 4, you'll see that that part stays the same. But I use the, like talking about different things, the lesson planning, and then I use it to create this. And then,
Which is
so
the
that's,
guideline for the aesthetics that you were looking for in the system. Like, okay, I got it. It's
no,
pretty much
this is not the aesthetic. This is the behavior. I want it to follow the instruction. This is how the protocol of how to do this. The aesthetic, I just ask it to follow the same. This is one of the instructions, to follow the same visual language. Anyways, on that, I'm gonna continue on with quick activity. Just take 1 or 2 minutes. What did you learn? And put it in the chat really quickly. And if you feel bold and wanna get bonus points, you can post it on LinkedIn also, which will do wonders. But for this, just drop it in the chat. 3 things that you learn. Thank you, Pip. Thank you, Alex. Cool. All right. So the homework is to apply apply the same process that we went through to your capstone project. So really quickly, but I want you guys to actually aggressively time box it, because this could literally take days if you want it, if you get sucked into it. But I want you to do it like the way we did it, really quickly, and it's gonna feel kind of like it's not the quality that you want, but finished, and that's okay. But the same thing that we did. Yes? Any questions about that? Same thing that we did, okay? We have office hours. Well, wait, what happened to my link? Okay, I'm gonna drop the link in the Slack to book the time, right? And it's optional. And if you cannot make it that time, just let me know and we can find another time. So that's the office hours. And then for the teamwork, so this on here on Maven, you'll see the small group collaboration. And these are the groups. So Ramley with Renata, Alex with Marina. Marina is not here, but Alex, hopefully you get connected to Marina on Slack. Sarah, Pip, and Farah. Okay, so you guys figure out the time that works for you. And when you meet, essentially you just show what you've done for the homework, give each other feedback so you can learn from them.
The goal of the small group is to give each other feedback on my own capstone.
Correct.
Okay.
So that way you can learn from each other also.
And also, you were suggesting this time, we can change it around.
The time is up to you. Whatever works. For example, for you and Ramley, you guys decide.
Okay.
Any questions? Nope. Okay, and with that, that is the end of the first lesson. You guys okay?
Yeah, that was great. Thank you, Danny.
Sure thing. Well, if nothing else, take a deep breath and enjoy the rest of your evening. Okay, see you guys on Slack.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night, guys.